Have you already heard about the mobile phone application called musixmatch? If not, then it's definitely time to listen up to episode number 22 on My Fluent Podcast. In a nutshell, with musixmatch, you can listen to your favorite songs and at the same time you can read along the lyrics which are floating on the screen. I am Daniel Goodson, the host of My Fluent Podcast, Learn with and from an English learner. It's that simple. So in this episode I want to talk about the application musixmatch. And to be honest, I wanted to cover this topic a long time before, but I've never come to that. Now that I found out that there is a possibility to read along in different languages, I was over the moon. Yes, I was over the moon and kinda forced to tell you about this application. musixmatch is available for Apple and also for Android mobile phones. And according to musixmatch, the website, more than 40 million people are using musixmatch. That's a good sign for us because you have to know that the translations are in fact doing the listeners. So everybody can participate in translating the different lyrics. For example, if you have a lyric in English, you can translate in, let's say, in Polish or in Portuguese. You can make an account and then you can send in the translations so that if you are listening to an English song, you could then switch the lyrics beside of English also in Portuguese. And so basically if you want to learn a new language or if you want to improve your language, then it's amazing to use musixmatch. It is so strong. Well guys, let's talk a bit about the dangers while using this application. Although the term dangers is a bit exaggerated, perhaps, but there are definitely downsides. For example, you can easily get overwhelmed by the vast amount of vocabulary you are learning. While therefore you absolutely need to be organized or focused on specific vocabulary. And yes, Daniel, you have to listen to your own episode again because it concerns you after all. I am talking to myself. The more music you listen, the greater is the danger in getting overwhelmed by the vast vocabulary. If you are not focused, then it's gonna be complicated to make all the vocabulary stick. And another issue, well, depending on your music taste, if you are listening to pop music or I don't know, well, don't get me wrong, but there are some music genres where the lyrics are held pretty simple, you know? You won't learn that much because they are using always rather basic English language. On the other hand, that doesn't necessarily mean a bad thing because you can also articulate yourself by using very simple vocabulary. And you can be fluent by using basic vocabulary. That's not a bad thing, not at all. For example, if you are using only very sophisticated vocabulary and your speaking partner doesn't understand you at all, then that's not good, you know? But I'm just saying. And if you want to learn a language from scratch, then, for example, I recommend you to listen to the songs of Rammstein. Let's say the song called Du hast. And let's see on the application musixmatch. The original song is in German, of course. And there are a lot of other languages available at the moment. You can switch Netherlands, you can switch to English, which is only translated at 50% so far. You have French, 100%. You have Bahasa Indonesia, 30%. You have Italian, 30%. Polski, 100%. And you have about 6 or 7 further languages, which are not 100% translated yet. You see, the library is growing with the help of all the listeners, so I think this application is gonna become very powerful. And when I am saying you can switch to another language, then I mean that you will always see the original lyrics, and next to the original lyrics you will see the switched language. And that's a very good way to learn another language. And you can use a method called laddering, I think. For example, in my case, I could read along or listen to an English song, and at the same time I could switch to Italian, and so I could improve my English, and as well I could improve my Italian. That's 2 flies with 1 stone, you know? Sounds good to me. So that's basically it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the episode, and I must admit that this episode I did not jot down the transcript beforehand. I just recorded a bit after bit, and when I was happy about it, I went forward. But I am not that convinced of this episode, and so probably I will go over again. I will use this episode kind as a draft, a recorded draft, and I will re-listen to it, and I will try to find other ways of saying it in a better way so that I can improve my English. So thank you very much, language learners, and I hope I see you soon. I'm your host, Daniel Goodson. Have a good one!